This is a Storm Team 18 Severe Weather Alert. News 18, weather from where you live.
All right, good evening, everyone. We've got a tornado warning out for Benton County. This is for this storm that's passing just over 52 right now. It is in the Oak Grove area. This is a radar confirmed tornado, or a radar identified tornado, I should say. This is a severe thunderstorm. It's capable of producing one. We don't have any ground reports on this yet. This is again for southeastern Benton County until 5:30 p.m. There's some radar indicated rotation on this. We'll pull up our velocity tracker, and this was a lot more impressive a couple of minutes ago than it is right now. But where we have these areas of greens coupled with the areas of reds, this is where we expect to see some rotation. So this is passing through the Oak Grove area right now. I'm going to grab a storm tracker on this really quickly to show you where this is headed. So this is moving northeast at about 30 miles an hour. Let me grab my tracker on this. So we are looking at, this is again for Benton County right here, putting a storm tracker on this. It's moving northeast at 30 miles an hour. This area of rotation has not passed over 52 yet. I'm going to track this out for about 20 minutes. It looks like the nearest town that's going to be impacted by this area of rotation is Templeton, and that's at 5:07 p.m. So this tornado warning is effective until 5:30. There has not been any on-the-ground report of tornado yet. But this is an intense storm, and we can see that this is where, this is actually on the north side of the storm where we have this little curly section of the line, and this is moving off to the northeast. It's passing over Oak Grove right now, moving toward US 52. So if you are in the path of this storm, you want to take shelter. This is for southeastern Benton County, and it's continuing to move off to the east. And actually now we have a tornado warning to the south as well. This is a tornado warning for, oops, that's the wrong product to look at. This is now a tornado warning for both Fountain and Warren counties down near Attica. This appears to be, this is also until 5:30 p.m. This is again for radar indicated rotation on this. And we will take a look at the velocity on this. Okay. Yep, so we can see right here just southwest of West Lebanon, we can see that there is a couplet here. I'll draw on the screen what I'm talking about. So this red is rain that's moving away from the radar in this direction, and then the green is moving toward the radar in this direction. And what you essentially get when you have a couplet like this is you have rotation. And this rotation actually looks a lot more considerable than the rotation up to the north, but we are seeing Doppler radar indicating that we have two areas of rotation that are capable of dropping a tornado. I'm going to put a storm tracker on this one as well. It appears this one's also moving. This one's moving off to the northeast, and this one is also moving. This is moving at 35 miles an hour. So I'm going to grab a storm track on this as well. This is passing into the West Lebanon area very soon, and it'll be moving just to the north of Attica. If you live in Attica, though, you're going to want to take shelter. If you live in this tornado warned area or the tornado warned area that we just touched on, you're going to want to take shelter, as these are thunderstorms that are capable of producing tornadoes. So this will be impacting West Lebanon in about a minute at 5:07, Carbonsdale at 5:12, Williamsport at 5:14, Kramer at 5:15, Pine Village at 5:20. And this is because we do have this area of rotation associated with this line. Then there's also an area of rotation that's passed just to the east of Oak Grove right now. We can see that this area of rotation is a lot weaker than the rotation that we're seeing on that southern storm. But both of these do have rotation enough that the National Weather Service put out a tornado warning for both of these storms. We're going to take a look at debris tracker to see if we can indicate any type of debris in these storms, and I'm not seeing anything on here that suggests debris. So if there is a tornado on the ground, it's likely going to be a weaker one, because Usually, if these were stronger storms and stronger tornadoes, you would see debris getting lofted up, especially if it's moving toward a town like West Lebanon. So I'm not seeing any indication that there is a tornado actually on the ground, but that could change at a moment's notice. So if you live in the path of either of these storms, you're going to want to take shelter immediately. I will again tell you the counties that these are impacting. So this particular tornado warning, effective until 5:30, is for Fountain and Warren counties. This includes West Lebanon, where the rotation is heading toward right now, and Attica, and Williamsport as well. And I'm going to move over to the northern storm and get another track on that, or get another info box on that, I should say. This is for Benton County. This includes Oak Grove. The rotation is right over Oak Grove right now. It's about to move across Highway 52 out there. So if you are in either of those towns, you're going to want to take shelter immediately. If you are in southeastern Benton County, you're going to want to take shelter immediately. This is past Highway 41. So if you live along Highway 41 or to the west, you're in the all clear. This is primarily to the east of Highway 31. And they've shrunk this warning box now to include just areas to the east of Oak Grove. And they haven't extended that warning past it, although this warning now appears like it, oh no, that's just including more of the county. So again, this is for southeastern Benton County. This is now to the east of Oak Grove. It's moving off to the northeast at around 30 miles per hour. We'll get another storm tracker on this. So there are no large towns in the path of this at this point. If you do live near the path of this, if you live just to the north or south, tornadoes can have deviant motion. There isn't a confirmed one on the ground yet, but if it does drop one, they can move not quite independently of the storm, but they can make strange turns. So if you live to the north or the south of this tracking box, if you are in that tornado warned area, you are going to want to seek shelter immediately. I'm again not seeing anything off of that one. I am going to look further to the south again and see if I can see that velocity is still there. We still see that couplet. We still have an indication of some counterclockwise rotation in this storm. This one in particular is looking a little less pronounced than it was a few minutes ago, and it looks like it actually is moving a little further off to the east than it was looking like a moment ago as well. I'm going to grab a squall tracker on this, and this is moving off at 35 miles an hour off to the northeast. So we are going to draw that on the map one more time. So this is the general motion that we're seeing out of this storm. This includes areas like Fountain, Williamsport, Kramer, Attica, Winthrop. If you are in the path of these storms, you are going to want to take shelter immediately. It should be through the warned area by about 5:27. They have this tornado warning set to expire at 5:30. But we're looking at 2 minutes to Fountain. We're looking at about 8 minutes to Williamsport, and we're looking at about 11 minutes to Kramer. Or 10 minutes to Kramer now. So if you are in the path of these storms, you are going to want to take shelter because they do have rotation associated with them. And these are moving off to the east at a fairly slow rate. They're moving at about 35 miles an hour. They are associated with a larger line of storms that has more storm activity bubbling up down to the south. But with these moving off to the northeast, this activity down to the south shouldn't impact us at all. We're going to come back up to the north, keep an eye on this, see if this is trying to wrap up again. I'm going to turn off the lightning because it helps see the rotation on there. Okay, there's still definitely rotation in this one. Off to the north, just to the east of Oak Grove. This rotation is starting to deteriorate a little bit. The rotation now is over Highway 52 and continuing to move off to the east-northeast. And looking down here to the south, okay, so we see that this is starting to wrap up a little more again. Where you get the reds and the greens touching and where they start to speed up when they're touching, this is where you have areas of wind convergence and rotation. So this is where we're expecting to see a tornado if one does drop. This is now just across State Road 263. This is moving just to the south of West Lebanon. If you live in West Lebanon, you are going to want to be in a safe spot, either on the interior of your home or in a basement, preferably a bathroom on the interior or a closet on the interior. So not touching any exterior walls with no windows. This is moving off to the east-northeast, so this looks like it's lined up with Attica right now. If you live in Attica, you are going to want to take shelter, again, in a basement or a room on the interior of your house without windows, a bathroom, a closet. If you have any of those areas available, get into those because this is showing signs of rotation. We have no confirmed tornado on the ground. I do want to clarify again, this is, however, moving off to the northeast and is capable of producing, especially with rotation like we see there. I'm going to take a look at debris tracker again, and I don't see any, again, obvious signs of any debris from either of these storms. So it is likely that we don't have one on the ground still. With that said, I'm going to take another storm track on this, and it looks like this rotation might actually be traveling outside of the warned area. It's moving pretty far south of the warning box. So the primary threat area looks to be along the Attica line right here. Again, West Lebanon, you're still within the tornado warning. This rotation is just a little bit to the south and the east. I wouldn't give the all clear on West Lebanon yet. If you live there, you're still going to want to be underground. But this is moving off to the northeast toward Attica, and we will see if the National Weather Service has said anything else about this storm. Still radar indicated rotation. I'm going to move further up to the north and see if they have said anything different about this tornado warning up here. Radar indicated rotation. Okay, so we still don't have confirmations on either of these storms. And this is associated with a much broader line of storms that it's going to continue moving through our area throughout the course of the afternoon and evening hours. But there is, again, a tornado warning for Fountain County and Warren counties in the southwestern portions of our viewing area. And we have that tornado warning further to the north for Benton County. And this includes, it looks like it includes the town of Otterbein. So if you are in either of these, Otterbein, sorry, if you are in either of these warned areas, you are going to want to take shelter immediately. I'm going to take a look at the rotation again on these and see where, okay, so yeah, there is still rotation off to the south of this warned area. It wouldn't surprise me if the National Weather Service sets up a new warning box or edits this warning box to be a little further to the south. Okay, so they did update it. They've pulled back the warning, so now West Lebanon, you are out of the warned area. I'm wondering if Shawnee is going to get included in this, but this is moving off to the northeast at 35 miles per hour. I'll put another storm tracker on this. And this, it will impact Williamsport in about 2 minutes, Shawnee in about 4 minutes, Attica in about 6 minutes, and Winthrop in about little over 10 minutes, in about 13 minutes to use. So there is still very pronounced rotation with this. Just to the southeast of West Lebanon. West Lebanon, again, is not included in this tornado warning anymore. This is moving off toward the town of Attica. So if you live in Attica, you are definitely going to want to seek shelter immediately. This is moving at around 35 miles per hour, and it looks like it's towing the county line right now between Fountain and Warren counties. And this will continue moving off to the north and to the east at about 35 miles per hour. I do want to take a look north very quickly We still have that area of rotation. It's a little less pronounced now. This is further off to the east. This is about to exit the warned area, it looks like. So we'll see if the National Weather Service extends that warning further out to the east. But looking further south where the more intense rotation is, going to grab another storm tracker on this. Just so that you know where this is headed off to the northeast. This is the area of rotation that we're concerned about. This is where we see that the difference in wind direction. So we have wind that's moving toward the radar down here, wind that's moving away from the radar up here, and so you get a circulation motion. And especially where it becomes narrow and touches the red, where the green touches the red, becomes narrow and the colors become brighter. This is an indication that we have increasing speeds as the rotation is coming closer, which means that we could have a couplet forming and potentially a tornado at that point. Again, we don't have any ground reports of any tornadoes right now. All that we know is that the radar is indicating that we have rotation in this area. This includes Attica, and actually it looks like this rotation is now a little further into the interior of the warning box. So it does appear that it's moving still in generally the right direction. And actually it looks like it might be moving a little to the north as well. So if you live in Attica, you are definitely going to want to take shelter as soon as possible because this is moving toward you. It looks like it's following the Wabash River, at least somewhat. It may be a little bit to the northwest of the Wabash River, in line with Attica. There have been no tornado reports yet. I'm going to take a look at more reports and see what has been said. See if there have been any reports that I'm not seeing. But as of right now, this is a radar indicated tornado. This is for the areas, this is for Fountain and Warren counties. It's moving to the northeast at about 35 miles per hour. It's headed toward Attica at the moment. We'll throw another track on here. This tornado warning is until 5:30. It appears as though it should be within the warned area until then. So we'll draw that tracker out again. And we can see the timing on these. This area of rotation is moving just to the north of Shawnee, so Shawnee is not included in this warned area. Williamsport, Attica, Glencliff, and Independence, you are all within this warned area, and this area of rotation is headed toward you. So you're definitely going to want to be in shelter if you are in the path of this storm. Pulling up right now. Okay, so I have no tornado reports. I'm not seeing anything about a tornado on the ground in these areas. This is still radar indicated. We can see the areas of rotation are still very clear on radar right now. I'm going to turn off lightning just so that we can see this a little bit clearer. So this is moving toward Attica. It is just to the east of US 41, also to the south of US 41. This is moving off to the northeast. If there's a tornado, we know that it's going to be right along the Wabash River right here. This is where that area of rotation is the most vigorous. It is still moving off to the northeast, still moving at 35 miles per hour. I'm going to take one quick look up north again, see if anything else of significance is there. And I don't see anything up here. They also haven't extended that tornado warning off to the east anymore. So I am going to focus more on this area of more intense rotation down to the south. This is moving toward Attica. This is just to the east and the south, or sorry, just to the west and south of US 41, moving off to the northeast toward Attica. We'll throw another storm tracker on this. This area of rotation will be moving into Attica in the next couple of minutes. So we'll grab another storm track on this just to show you all where it's at. So this will be moving into Williamsport in about 2 minutes, Attica in about 5 minutes, Glencliff in about 7 minutes. So if you live in these areas or Independence, that is more in, it's in a little while longer. So we'll see if the rotation holds up as this comes toward Independence. It's a relatively slow moving storm, but even though we don't have a confirmed tornado on the ground, you are going to want to be in a safe place. So either in a basement or an interior room without any windows, preferably a bathroom or an interior closet. Those are going to be the safest places to be if this does produce a tornado as it's moving off to the northeast. Any tornado warning you are going to want to treat as a tornado being on the ground, because while there might not be one right now, when you have rotation that looks like this, a tornado could produce in a very short amount of time. So you want to be as safe as possible as this storm is moving off to the northeast towards Williamsport, Attica, and Glencliff. If you are within this warning box extending up past where US 41 starts to move off to the northwest, or where State Road 55 starts, you're going to want to be in your in shelter of some kind, as this does have rotation associated with it, and the rotation does not appear to be going away. We are seeing a little bit of a separation of the rotation here, but we still do see that there is some pretty broad rotation in this area. It does not take much to get this to tighten up again and potentially produce a tornado. So again, there is still a tornado warning for Fountain and Warren counties, and this is for until 5:30. Likely this warning will get extended because this is still within the warned area, and there's still a decent amount of rotation on this as this moves toward Attica. So a little further to the north, we still have this tornado warning up here for Benton County. This rotation is very weak up here. There's still signatures of rotation. It is starting to move out of the warned area though. So while in this area of Benton County, you're going to want to be in a shelter. You're going to want to be in a safe space. I'm fairly certain they're going to allow this warning to expire, because I'm not seeing much of an indicator of rotation in this area anymore. There is still rotation there. It's just very broad and very weak right now. The primary threat that I'm concerned about is this one down here in Fountain and Warren counties, because we still see that these colors are getting brighter, which means that we have an increase in wind speed as these winds are coming together. And we see that there's signatures of rotation in this, and this is moving a little closer now to Attica and crossing US 41 as this moves off to the north and east. We'll pull up another tracker on this. So this will be at Attica in about 2 minutes. This is moving over Williamsport right now. So this will be at Attica in about 2 minutes, Glencliff in about 3 minutes now, and Independence in about 11 minutes. So if you are in the path of this storm, you're going to want to take shelter. On this most recent radar scan, we actually do see an indicator that the rotation is starting to deteriorate some. So this is good news. This means that this could be on the weakening side as this moves off to the northeast and further deeper into the viewing area. But this tornado warning is still valid. So if you are within the area of this tornado warning, you are going to want to be in shelter, whether that is a basement or the interior of a room away from windows in the interior of your house. So a bathroom on the interior or a closet on the interior are going to be the safest bets anywhere without a window on the lowest floor of your house possible. So we are going to take another look. So you can even see the rotation here on radar where the rain is getting wrapped around in this as well. This is moving right over Attica right now. We'll look at velocity one more time as well. Take a look at this. As long as this tornado warning is within the viewing area, we're going to stay live on this. Still no word on this northern tornado warning. I still think that this is likely going to expire. I do see a little little more in terms of rotation on this, little outside of the warned area right now. I'm not seeing a whole lot that concerns me in this top area. It looks like the majority of the storm has moved out of the warned area. But this storm to the south in Fountain and Warren County, this is the one that primarily concerns me. The rotation looks like it's starting to get even weaker now as this is moving right over Attica. This is moving over Attica as we speak. So if there is a tornado on the ground, you are absolutely going to want to be in shelter in Attica. Right now we have no ground reports of it being on the ground, but you want to treat any tornado warning as if there is one on the ground, because while there might not be one this second, next second there could be. These things will form and drop on the ground very quickly. So this is moving off to the northeast, moving past Attica right now, and moving across US 41 as well, as this is moving off to the northeast. I'm going to check the debris indicator on this and see. So I'm still not seeing any debris, which is good, because as it moves past towns like Attica, that's when a lot of times, if there is a tornado on the ground, you will see debris lofted up. And so not showing any signs of that right now is a very, very good sign. We'll look at radar one more time on this and see if I can tell anything based off of this. We'll go back to velocity. Yeah, there is a little bit of rotation starting to set up. It looks like just outside this warned area off to the north in northern portions of Tippecanoe County. It looks like there is no tornado warning for this, though. It's very weak rotation up there. We'll come back down to the south where the primary rotation is. Still no debris on that, so still very good. We have some very broad rotation in this area, just moving, passing right over Attica and just to the south, towing mostly the southern side of this warning box, especially on the Attica side of the border. Williamsport should be out of the threat now. It looks like Williamsport, you are clear back there. The primary rotation is now right over and just south of Attica, moving off to the northeast at around 35 miles per hour. I'm going to throw another storm track on this. These warnings are set to expire in a minute, so we'll see if they extend these, and there's the extension. Okay, so now we have a tornado warning for Warren County, Fountain County, and it looks like Tippecanoe County as well. So we will pull up. Yep, and there goes the tornado warnings. It looks like they did not choose to extend. Yeah, they let the tornado warning off to the north expire. So Benton County is no longer under a tornado warning, nor are areas to the east of it. However, we do have that tornado warning being extended into Warren, Fountain, and Tippecanoe counties. This is this storm right here. I'm going to draw a storm tracker on this and make sure that I'm not missing out on any warnings anywhere else in the process. Okay, I see no other warnings. So this is for this area of rotation moving just to the south of Attica. So remember how I said this storm was towing the southern side of this warning? Well, this new warning is further to the south. So now this rotation is dead center in it and now moving off to the northeast. I'll look at any tags on this and see if they've said anything else about this storm. It's moving at about 25 miles an hour, and if you can hear, we've got tornado sirens going off right now in Lafayette. This is not a confirmed tornado, but you want to treat this as if it is a confirmed tornado, because these can drop tornadoes very quickly in just a matter of moments. So I will throw a tracker on this as well as this moves through. Just passing Attica right now. This is moving at about 25 miles an hour, so this is actually slower than my tracker is indicating. Let me change that. The storm motion is dropped by about 10 miles an hour, so we will track this out. So this will be at at Vine at 5:40 p.m. This will be at Independence at 5:41 p.m. So this is in about 9 and 10 minutes. This will be at Roberts at 5:45 p.m. and Black Rock at 5:52 p.m. So this storm is now moving past Attica. It's moving in the direction of Tippecanoe County. Tippecanoe County is also within this tornado warning. We have sirens going off here. You should be hearing sirens in Warren and Fountain counties as well, as this is moving off to the northeast at around 25 miles per hour. This particular tornado warning is set to expire at, let's see. Here we are. This is set to expire at 6 p.m. This is for an area of rotation that's actually gotten even more pronounced, it appears. Yeah, so the rotation is definitely still there. It's trying to wrap itself up again. This is moving to the northeast. It's moving past Attica right now. This will be moving into, it looks like, if the rotation holds, it'll be moving into central Tippecanoe County in about 20 or so minutes. It's very slow moving. It's 25 miles an hour moving off to the northeast. We see the rotation right here. If you are in the path of the storm, if you are hearing sirens going off and you are in this warned area, you are going to want to take shelter immediately, because this has the potential to drop a tornado. And I'm seeing some areas, especially just off to the east of Attica, where it looks like we might be getting a little more intensification in rotation there. I'll look at debris tracker and make sure we're not seeing anything. I don't see anything on debris tracker, so again, that is a very good sign. But now it looks like this primary area of concern has moved to the southeast of Attica. It looks like it's right off here, just to the north of State Road 28. Moving off to this is moving to the east-northeast, so it's got a slight north component to it. It is moving mostly to the east. So it looks like extended out, this will probably end up right around State Road 25. This is moving off to the northeast at about 25 miles per hour. This will be impacting Independence at 5:41 p.m., Roberts at 5:46 p.m., Black Rock at 5:51 p.m., and Glen Hall at 5:56 p.m. Yeah, that area of rotation is still very pronounced, and this is right in this area of the storm. This is on the north edge of this cell down here. You're going to experience a lot of rain and lightning. If there is a tornado in this, there's another layer that's going to make this even more difficult to spot, because it's likely going to be rain wrapped because of all the heavy rain that's ahead of it. So if you are ahead of this area of rotation, it's going to be difficult to see if there's anything in it. So do not wait to see if there's anything inside of it. If you know that you're in the path of this storm, you're going to want to get into shelter immediately. This is moving just to the north of, actually just along, I believe, State Road 28. The primary area of concern is right in here. If you are within this warned area, you are going to want to take shelter immediately, because this is showing signs that it has the potential to drop a tornado. I'm going to look at the National Weather Service and see if they've said anything else on this. I'm not seeing any other comments on this, but this is moving off to the northeast. Here's a broader view of it. This is the area of rotation that we're concerned about, just north of State Road 28, moving off to the northeast. This is pushing through Warren and Fountain counties right now, moving toward Tippecanoe County. If you are within the warned area, you are going to want to take shelter immediately. And this warning is until 6 p.m. This shows no signs of weakening. We actually see that there's a renewed attempt by the storm to rotate even more. I still do not have any confirmation on a tornado being on the ground. Treat any tornado warning as if it's on the ground. Get into a basement if you are in the path of this, or in an interior room in your home, whether that is a bathroom or a closet. Those are going to be your best bets. You want to be away from windows. You want to be on the lowest floor of your home. I will throw another storm tracker on this to show where this is headed. So this does not include Lafayette. This is just to the southwest of Lafayette right now. Attica, you should be in all clear. You'll still have some rain and some wind and some lightning that you're seeing, but the primary rotation has moved. You're likely still hearing tornado sirens as well. The primary threat, the primary area of rotation has moved off to the southeast, and this is moving to the northeast. It'll be impacting Vine in about 5 minutes. This will be impacting Independence in about 7 minutes, Roberts in about 11 minutes, and Black Rock this will be impacting Black Rock at 5:54, Glen Hall at 5:58. So if you are in the path of the storm, I've only taken this track out to where the storm is. So I will take a further track and see how long until it hits Lafayette, because Lafayette is in line for this particular storm. Lafayette, again, I do want to point out, is not within the tornado warned areas. You did hear sirens go off just now in Lafayette. This is because we have that tornado warning in parts of west central Tippecanoe County moving on, and this is for a potential tornado out here crossing just to the southeast of Attica, moving off to the northeast. So we are in line for it. So I want to gear up as many people as possible to get prepared to move into their basements or bathrooms or wherever you're headed in preparation for this. So I will extend this out. It looks like we're about 50 minutes out before this hits Lafayette. So we have some time to prepare as this moves towards us. But for right now, the primary concern, Independence, this will be at you at 5:43. Odell, this will be at 5:48. Black Rock, 5:53. Glen Hall, 5:56. Shadeland, 6:09. So Shadeland is not within the warned area yet either. This is for this area of rotation right here, moving past, this is past Attica now. So again, if you live in Attica, you should be okay to leave your shelter. This is for this area of rotation right here, moving off toward Odell. This rotation appears to be weakening in the most recent radar scan, so that is good news, but we did see weakening a little earlier as well, and it's re-intensified as it's begun moving off to the east. So this is, again, for this area of rotation right here. This tornado warning is for Warren and Fountain County, in Tippecanoe counties until 6 p.m. This is for this area of rotation. This is radar indicated. This has not been confirmed on the ground yet, but treat any tornado warning as if it is a confirmed tornado, because these can produce tornadoes very quickly. I've been saying this since we've been on air, because this is a very important thing that a lot of people don't necessarily know. Is just because we say this is a radar indicated tornado does not mean that there's no ground truth to it, and just because there's no ground truth to it right now doesn't mean there won't be in a couple of minutes. So if you are in the path of this storm, you're going to want to take shelter immediately. If you just heard those tornado sirens go off, hopefully you're tuned in here so that you know where this storm is heading. Obviously, these sirens go off for entire counties, and they don't necessarily go off for specific locations. So just because you heard those tornado sirens doesn't mean that there is a warning in your area. This is primarily for west central Tippecanoe County and then parts of Warren and Fountain counties. This is for this area of rotation down to the south along Indiana State Road 28, moving off to the north and the east at about 25 miles per hour. So this does not include Lafayette yet. Like I said, this is for, and I'll circle this area of rotation right here as well. This is for this area of rotation right here, moving off toward Odell. And there's a lot of rain ahead of this. So do not stand outside watching for this. Get indoors if you are in the path of this. You likely won't be able to see it coming because of all of the rain that's ahead of it. We call these rain wrap tornadoes. They are very hard to spot. So if you are in the path of this, you're going to want to be inside as soon as possible. I'll look at debris again. I don't see any debris on this. If there's a tornado on the ground, it's likely weak. That said, do not underestimate it. Get inside. If you are in Odell, you are going to want to be in an interior part of your house on the lowest floor. A basement is the best place to be. a bathroom on the interior of the house away from any windows on the lowest floor, or a closet, those are going to be the next best places to be during a tornado. So I'm going to draw a track on this again. I want to keep a track on this as long as I can so that everyone in the path knows. This appears again to be moving a little further to the south. This is something that we see with tornadic storms a lot, is they like moving to the right more. So if this storm is moving in the northeastern direction, it likes to turn to its right a lot, and the rotation in the storm helps influence that. So we are seeing this area of rotation pivot a lot to the south more than the general storm motion is. So especially if you're along this warning, you're going to want to keep an eye on the weather, and you're going to want to be, if you are in the warning, you're going to want to be indoors and in a basement if possible. This is moving toward Independence at 542. Odell, really want to stress this for Odell, 546. This is when this is going to be headed toward you. Black Rock at 553, Glen Hall at 556. We've had no indication of a tornado being on the ground at any point during this, but we have had very consistent rotation with this since it passed over the Indiana-Illinois border. So this has a history of producing rotation within it, and it appears to be fairly long tracked as this rotation has been with us for so long. So I'm not seeing much signs of intensification in this most recent scan. It looks like it's winding down a little bit. But again, this is one of those things that supercells, that thunderstorms with persistent rotation will do, is that they will rotate up. Sometimes they will weaken, and then we call it cycling. They'll strengthen one more time. So we are watching this. It did this earlier, further to the west. So we're watching this for signs of strengthening again as this moves off to the northeast toward the town of Odell, toward Independence, toward Glen Hall. Again, the primary area of rotation is further south. It looks like it'll be passing to the south of Independence. This is moving toward the town of Odell. And with this most recent radar scan, I'm still seeing that rotation there. It is fairly broad. It does not appear as though it is tightening at all. I'm going to look around the rest of the area and make sure I'm not missing any other watches or warnings, and I don't see anything. So we are going to come further in. Looks like I might have just gotten a report in, so I'm going to see what that was. Okay, no reports on that. But this area of rotation is now heading toward Tippecanoe County. It's almost within the county line. So if you are further off to the west than here, you are pretty much in the clear from this storm. This is just this area of rotation right here that we're watching as this pushes into Tippecanoe County, into especially southwestern Tippecanoe County, as this area of rotation has been with us for a while. And it has been, it's weakened a lot in the last couple of radar scans. It hasn't gone away. It's been very persistent, but it is still with us. And it is, I'll circle the area just to show you. That entire area right there is what we're watching. Within this area that's now beginning to push into southwestern Tippecanoe County and parts of west central Tippecanoe County, this is where we're watching for any tornadic development, because this is where that primary source of rotation is as this moves in. This tornado warning is until 6 p.m. Depending on how this evolves over the next couple of minutes will likely determine whether the National Weather Service chooses to extend this warning or not. But we will draw another tracker on this as this is now closing in on parts of Tippecanoe County. I'll drag this out to Lafayette now that I'll drag it all the way up to 65 now that we are within Tippecanoe County. So this will be at Odell in a minute. This is likely starting to pass over you as we speak, as these radar images are a little old. 554 at Black Rock, 558 at Glen Hall, 602 at Shadeland, 615 at Elston, and 620 at Lafayette. So we're going to be watching this. This has shown persistent signs of rotation for the last about probably 45 minutes or so. And we know that this has the capability of producing a tornado. We don't know whether it will or not as this pushes into Tippecanoe County. So if you are in the path of the storm, definitely get into your shelter, get into your basement if possible. If you don't have a basement, lowest floor of your house in the interior, so especially an interior bathroom, interior closet, somewhere like that, because this is a rotating thunderstorm headed into parts of southwestern and south central Tippecanoe County. I'll look at debris again and see. I'm seeing, it looks like there might be, it's difficult to tell whether that's debris or not. I can't tell for sure whether that is. I'm going to check Purdue's radar, see if I can see anything better on there. Because that is, we are a little far away from a radar site, so it's difficult to tell if that's debris or not. So while that's on the screen, I'm going to check this. Okay, so the rotation is very clear on Purdue's radar, which I'm not able to show, unfortunately. I don't see signs of debris on Purdue's radar, so that's a good thing. That's a very good thing. That's why I always check. It was very fuzzy. I wasn't able to tell if that was debris or not. That is fortunately not debris. I'm going to check again to see if I'm missing any more warnings. I'm not missing any other warnings, so we're going to stay on this. Purdue's radar is showing very clear signs of rotation on this still, so this warning will likely get extended well within Tippecanoe County into the Lafayette and West Lafayette area. They are not within that tornado warning yet, but this rotation is still showing signs of being fairly intense. This has moved over and starting to move past Odell right now. I'm going to throw another storm tracker on this. This is really hugging the south side of this warning box. So this will likely pass just to the south of Lafayette if this does hold up and move through. I'm going to look at radar one more time as well. Okay, we're going to throw that tracking box, or we're going to throw a tracker on this. So this will be at Black Rock at 5:52, so that's 3 minutes. Glen Hall at 5:54, so that's 5 minutes. Shadeland at 6:05. Way at 6:12. Lafayette at 6:17. Fairfield at 6:18. If you are in the path of this storm, you are going to want to take shelter. Lowest floor of your house, if it's a basement, that's the best case scenario. An interior bathroom away from windows or in a closet on the lowest floor of your house are going to be the best places to be during a tornado. The basement is the pinnacle. If you can't make it there, there are other safe spaces. There are lots of images out there of homes being destroyed with only their bathrooms still standing. So bathrooms are still a very safe space to be. You can hear the rain ramping up right now here in Lafayette. But we are still seeing signs of rotation here as this is moving closer to the Lafayette area. I'm going to check Purdue's radar again, see if I can see that rotation on there still. Yeah, okay, the rotation is still very clear on Purdue's radar as well. We still have no reports on the ground of a tornado. But we do know that, oh, here we go. Okay, so we have another tornado warning up for northern Tippecanoe County. So this is for an area of rotation moving into the battleground area. This tornado warning was just issued just now, and this is for parts of Tippecanoe County, especially north central Tippecanoe County, northeastern Tippecanoe County, and parts of Carroll County. This is a tornado warning for this area of rotation right here, just to the northwest of battleground. This is moving, it appears to be off to the east. They have this warning in a very awkward kind of way, but likely what's going on is they didn't include just north because this storm will push through Tippecanoe County before moving into Carroll County, kind of in the Delphi path. So we are going to be paying attention to both of these storms as now we have two tornado warnings. It looks like this area of rotation is starting to tighten up a little bit. This rotation is weaker than the rotation down to the south, but it does appear to be tighter. So it's not moving as fast, but there is more convergence going on and a higher chance for there to be a small tornado with that. Neither of these tornadoes are confirmed. They are both radar indicated. But again, if you are within these warnings whatsoever, you are going to want to be in shelter. The lowest floor of your house, basement if possible. But I'm going to put a storm tracker on this. This tornado warning is for an area of rotation moving just over Battleground right now. We'll throw a tracker on this. This is moving northeast at 20 miles per hour. So these are very slow moving storms. So I will throw the tracker on this. I won't include Delphi. So this will be at Battleground at 5:53. So this is in 1 minute. This will be moving over primary area of Battleground. 5:55. This will be over Ash Grove. 6:15. This will be over Pittsburgh. So if you are in the area that's warned right here, you are going to want to take shelter immediately. I'm going to move back down to the south and get another peek at this storm right here. This is still that tornado warning we've been tracking. This is moving into Tippecanoe County right now. This is in line for Shadeland. It looks like the National Weather Service has not extended this warning out to the northeast. They have 7 minutes before this warning expires. This is moving really in the southern portions of this warned area. I will throw a storm tracker on this. This includes parts of southwest and west central Tippecanoe County. This does not include Lafayette or West Lafayette yet. And it looks like if this rotation continues that it'll pass to the south of Lafayette. So this includes West Point. This will be impacting West Point at 5:55, Glen Hall at 5:57. All the other times are out of the warned area. So Shadeland at 6:06, Way at 6:14, and Lafayette at 6:20. We're going to go back to the north at this Battleground storm. We don't see any debris on either of the. Okay, here we go. So the National Weather Service did eventually include White County into this. So this tornado warning for the rotation at right around Battleground includes White County now until 6:30 p.m. This is for a tornado. This is for radar indicated rotation that is moving right in between Battleground and Ash Grove. This is not a confirmed tornado. Treat any tornado warning like it's confirmed. We have no ground reports on this. We have no ground reports on the one that's moving into western Tippecanoe County either. It actually looks like this area of rotation might be weakening some again, but we will have to keep an eye on it because I'm still seeing indicators that this might try to strengthen again. I'm going to look at my differential reflectivity and see if I can tell where the updrafts are. Okay, so yeah, there are still prominent updrafts on both of these, which means that we are still looking at the potential for intensification as time goes on. I'm looking at Purdue's radar as well to see what I can see. Again, if you are in the path of these storms, these are going to be rain wrapped, so do not stand outside looking for them. They will be very hard to see if these produce tornadoes as they move through the area because there's a wall of rain in front of them. Rain wrapped tornadoes are notoriously difficult to see. We've got a lot of wind and a lot of rain right now here in at the station. And these storms are getting pretty close. We got the Battleground one to the north, just north of us. This appears to be weakening some, but there is definitely rotation within this just to the north of Battleground. And then to the south as well, we've got that area of rotation that's pushing further into areas of south central Tippecanoe County, moving toward US 231. So this has not hit 231 yet. 231 is also not within the warned area. This area of rotation is about to move out of the warned area. So we'll see if the National Weather Service decides to extend this one or not. But assuming that they do, I will put a track on this just so that everyone knows where this is headed. This appears to be moving more to the east than it is to the north now. So this looks like it'll pass to the south of Lafayette. I'll take this all the way out to, okay, and there's the tornado warning. So they've just issued a tornado warning for parts of central Tippecanoe County. And there goes my phone, sorry about that, guys. This includes both Lafayette and West Lafayette. So if you are in Lafayette or West Lafayette, you're going to want to be in your shelter. You're going to want to be in the lowest place in your home, whether that's a basement or an interior bathroom. So you want to be in the interior of a building away from windows, a bathroom, a closet, those will both work. You just want to be away from windows and on the lowest floor. We don't have any confirmation on either of these tornadoes, these tornado warnings, but with that said, these can produce tornadoes very quickly, especially with the type of rotation that we're seeing on these. So if you are in the path of these storms, you are going to want to be in your shelters immediately. I'm going to draw a track on this again. I'm going to include Lafayette into this just in case it decides to move to the north and because Lafayette is within the warned area. So this includes Shadeland at 6 o'clock. So that's in 2 minutes. South Rouab at 6:03, Elston at 6:06, Lafayette at 6:11, Eastwich at 6:15, North Crane at 6:17, Dayton at 6:22, and it looks like Monitor is out of the warned area at the moment. We're going to move back up to the north and look at this area of rotation by Battleground. I'm going to draw a tracker on this. So this includes Ash Grove at 6:01, Battleground as well. It's not on this tracker, but if you're in Battleground, you need to be on the lowest floor of your building possible. This includes Ash Grove and Springboro until 6:01, or sorry, 6:01 is when it's going to pass Ash Grove, and 6:13 is when it's going to pass Springboro. So if you are in the area of these tornado warnings, you're going to want to be in the interior and lowest floor of the basement possible. Because these do have the capability of producing tornadoes. And I'm going to zoom out to make sure that I haven't missed anything, any other warnings on these. I'm not seeing any other warnings right now. So the bulk of our warnings, currently we have 2 different tornado warnings in Tippecanoe County. One to the south of Lafayette that includes Lafayette and the West Lafayette area, and one just to the north that includes Battleground and Ash Grove. This also includes the warning in Tippecanoe County also includes a bit of Carroll County, especially to the southwest, and this also includes White County, especially to the southeast. Both of these storms are moving off to the northeast. They're moving very slowly, so these are not fast movers at all. I'm going to put storm tracks on both of these since they're so close. I'm going to put this one a little closer. And there they go. They just let that warning off to the west expire. So if you are to the west of this particular storm, if you are in Fountain or Warren counties, your tornado warnings have been allowed to expire. You are no longer in threat at all. The primary area of concern right now is both in south central, central, and north central Tippecanoe counties, parts of White County, and parts of Cass County as well. So if you are in these areas, you are going to want to take shelter immediately. Because these are tornado warned storms that have rotation that are capable of producing a tornado. And really one of the reasons why we're seeing the rotation on these weaken as they're moving is not necessarily because the rotation is weakening, but it's because they're so far from the radar that we're seeing scans from very high up in the air. And being so high, the rotation weakens a lot the higher up that you get. So looking at the Purdue radar, which unfortunately, again, I'm not able to show, is very useful for us. So I can see that there is that area of rotation just to the south of Lafayette on Purdue's radar. And it is coinciding right about here. So right along State Road 25, just to the south of Lafayette. This is where that area of rotation is. And so we're going to continue watching this scenario as this pushes through. So again, here's this particular storm looks like it'll pass just to the south of Lafayette. If you are in Lafayette or West Lafayette, you want to be in your shelters now. If you are in Shadeland, you're going to want to be in your shelter now. This will be impacting you in just about a minute. Way, it'll be impacting you in about 7 minutes. North Crane at 6:16, Dayton at 6:21. Again, monitor is not a part of this tornado warning at the moment. We're going to track this northern tornado warning as well, impacting north central, Tippecanoe County, White County, and Cass County. And we will. So this will be impacting, it looks like Brookston is not within the tornado warned area. Springboro, on the other hand, is. That's right here, sorry. And these are, this particular area of rotation will be impacting Springboro in about 8 minutes. So these are moving very slowly off to largely the northeast. They have had a history of producing considerable amount of rotation. This is the least rotation I've seen in a while, but that is also because, again, we are looking at these radar scans from so high up in the atmosphere. So we do want to be on our toes with these. Just because a tornado has not been seen on the ground does not mean that one is not here. So if you are in the path of this storm, you are going to want to be in your shelter. These can produce tornadoes very quickly. So get into a basement, get into an interior bathroom on the lowest floor, or an interior closet on the lowest floor. Those are by far the safest places to be. The tornadoes that we're expecting to see today are on the weak side. We're talking about EF0s, EF1s, and we're not expecting to see very many of them either. But we do have these areas of rotation that are causing us some concern right now in both Tippecanoe County, White County, and Cass County. So again, I will circle the areas that we're referring to. So that's this general area. Just to the southwest of Lafayette, there's an area of rotation right in here that we're keeping an eye on as this moves off to the northeast. Again, this is including Lafayette and West Lafayette. If you're in Lafayette or West Lafayette, you're going to want to be in your shelter. If you are within this tornado warning in central Tippecanoe County, you're also going to want to be in your shelter. We'll move north again to look at this battleground storm. And I'm not seeing, there is still rotation there. I'll check Purdue's radar as well. It looks like actually the most intense rotation might be, I'm not actually able to see a lot of the rotation at battleground on Purdue's radar. There must be stuff obstructing the view there. So what I can tell you is that we still have that rotation. The rotation has been very persistent, especially on the storm that's moving to the south of Lafayette right now. And this has been producing rotation since it's passed into the Indiana-Illinois border. This has had rotation consistently for the last hour as it's moved across our viewing area and is now impacting areas just to the south of Lafayette. Lafayette, West Lafayette are included in this warning. Battleground, Ash Grove are included in that warning. Battleground is a little further to the south, but Ash Grove is right under the area of rotation right now that we are watching further off to the north. Okay, so this rotation to the south, it is moving past Shadeland right now. It's moving just along US 231. This is moving to the south of State Road 25. Is that State Road 25 or is that State Road 28? Okay, that is 25. This is moving past Shadeland. This is moving toward, it's moving just south of the Lafayette area. It'll be moving toward Highway 52 in the next 10 or 15 minutes. In the storm up to the north in northern Tippecanoe County, moving into now White counties and Cass counties. This storm will be impacting towns. I'll draw another track out on this as well. This will be impacting Springboro at 6:14 and Pittsburgh at 6:22. So if you are in the path of either of these storms, you're going to want to be in shelter if you can get there. Neither of these storms have history of producing tornadoes, but with the rotation that we're seeing on it, you are going to want to be in a shelter if possible, because these storms can produce tornadoes at any moment. So definitely be in your safe spaces. If you are near Lafayette or West Lafayette to the south, all the way down to South Ruab, all the way out to Dayton, if you are to really, if you're along US 231, stay in your shelters. If you are off to the west of 231, especially near Odell, you are all clear on this. Right now, we are looking at this area of rotation that is moving just to the south of Lafayette. It's moving off to the northeast at a very slow pace. It's about 25 miles per hour. These storms are going to be rain wrapped. If a tornado is produced, they will be very difficult to see because of the amount of rain that's falling ahead of these storms. We've been hearing the rain for a while now here at the station. We even heard some pretty howling winds earlier as well. So this will all be obscuring the view of this. So if this does produce a tornado, you likely won't be able to see it coming. So just get inside, get in your shelters if possible. Because we have a storm that is rotating and capable of producing a tornado. And it actually looks like the most impressive rotation right now might be just to the north of Battleground, moving into White County right now and Cass County as well. I will draw a storm tracker on that. If you're in Battleground or Ash Grove, remain in your shelters for the moment, as this rotation has only just passed you. Springboro and Pittsburgh, you are in the line of this storm. This will be impacting Springboro at 6:13 p.m. and Pittsburgh at 6:22 p.m. Again, you are both in the path of this storm. This storm does have rotation indicating that it could produce a tornado. We are very far away from the radar site, so it's difficult to see the exact extent of the rotation here. But seeing any type of rotation this high up is pretty impressive. This is moving off to the northeast at about 20 to 25 miles per hour. It'll be impacting Springboro at 6:13, Pittsburgh at 6:22. We're going to pivot back down to the south in this storm passing to the south of Lafayette. I'm going to draw a tracker on this as well. So if you are in Wea at 612, West Lafayette, at 612, West Lafayette 614, Lafayette 617, Eastwich 621, Dayton 624. This storm you are in the path of this storm. This particular area of rotation that's right around the south side of Lafayette. This is now passing over 231. It's going to continue to move off to the northeast. These storms have been having a tendency to move a little further to the south. So I've got a lot more area in this storm tracker than I've had earlier, because this could also switch directions and move a little further to the north along with the rest of the storm motion. So it's a little difficult to tell exactly where this area of rotation is going. So if you are within this warning area at all, get into your shelters. So this includes Lafayette and the West Lafayette area. This includes Eastwich, Dayton. If you are in the path of this storm, if you are to the east of 231 and you are in central Tippecanoe County, you're going to want to be in your shelter. I'm going to move back up to the north and talk about this. We just got a new radar scan in. Yeah, so we're still seeing very clear indication of rotation. We could see that there is, especially these outgoing winds, we can see a large outflow winds, but we still have these incoming winds down here to the south, keeping this rotation going. And moving off to the north, we can still see that rotation here as well. Wherever these greens and reds meet, this is typically where we see the rotation. We've got green that's moving toward the radar, red that's moving away from the radar, and so you end up getting a circulation there. So we have this circulation that's starting to move out of Tippecanoe County to the north into both White and Cass counties. So I will throw another storm tracker on this to keep everyone in the know. Delphi is not in this warned area yet. It is just off to the east. However, Springboro, Pittsburgh, you are still in the this warned area. It's 6:15, so that's 4 minutes for Springboro. 6:22, so that's 11 minutes for Pittsburgh. If you are in the path of this storm, get into your shelter. If you heard those tornado sirens go off a couple of minutes ago, get into your shelter, especially if you are within the warned areas here. We're going to pivot back down south. I'm going to take a look at the debris tracker, see if I can see anything on these. I don't see any debris on these. These are still warned by the National Weather Service. I've gotten no indications of, okay, so at 6:10, Storm Spotter reported a rotating wall cloud. Oh, this is for Illinois. Okay, this is not for us. That was in the wrong area. So we are still watching. You can even see where this precipitation is starting to curl up here just in the Lafayette area. This is that area of rotation that we're looking at. So this is a very broad area of rotation. This includes areas of Lafayette and south. This is moving toward US 52. This is just past 231, and it's continuing to move off to the east. We'll pull up velocity again to see that. So I'm going to circle the area that we're watching intently. So that's this area right here. This includes Lafayette. This is moving just to the south of Lafayette at the moment. West Lafayette, it appears as though we should be okay. This is mostly the Lafayette area and south that we're watching as this is moving off to the east at about 25 miles per hour. I've got no word from the National Weather Service whether they're extending this warning or not. With that type of rotation that we're seeing here, I'm imagining this warning is going to be here for a while. I'm going to look back through the loop and see what the rotation appears to be doing. Yeah, the rotation is just becoming more pronounced as it's moving off to the east. Even though we can't necessarily see it on velocity on the radar, we can definitely see it in just what the precipitation is doing up there. So we're going to take another look to the north. It looks like they brought back the warned area in White County. So now there's just a sliver of southeastern White County, and we're mostly starting to move into Cass County. So there is still that area of rotation right here. It's not very impressive looking at the moment. This is moving off to the northeast. These storms have shown signs of weakening and then re-intensifying as they've gone through the afternoon and evening hours. So just be aware that we do have this tornado warning for parts of southwestern Cass County, southeastern White County, and really kind of northwestern, northeastern or north central Tippecanoe counties. I'm looking at debris right now. I'm not seeing anything on debris, so that's still very good news. Starting to quiet down here in Lafayette as the most intense rainfall has moved away from us. But again, Dayton is included in this tornado warning. It's starting to push toward US 52. So if you are driving along US 52, know anyone that's driving along US 52, you're going to want to let them know there's an area of rotation heading toward this area just south of Lafayette. So if you live in this area, you're going to want to be in your shelter, the lowest level of your house. If it's a basement, that's the best place to be. If it's a bathroom on the lowest floor, interior, no windows, second best place to be, or in a closet, it's the third best place to be. You want to be on the ground floor or the basement, away from any windows, if at all possible. A bathroom of any kind is going to work. You just really want it to be on the interior. If it's on the exterior of the house, get to the bathroom if you don't have a basement or a closet on the interior. It looks like that northern tornado warning has been allowed to expire. So that's that tornado warning that was impacting Cass counties and Tippecanoe County. They still have it in White County right here, but I'm imagining that's going away very shortly. So right now, the only tornado warning that we have that's active is the one that's moving through central Tippecanoe County right now. And it looks like they might have just extended that warning. Okay, I've not gotten information about them extending the warning or not. This particular warning is until 6:30. This is for this area of rotation that's just to the south of Lafayette, moving to the east. It's about to move over US 52 right now. It'll be moving toward Interstate 65 in the next few minutes. So if you live along 52, especially to the south of Lafayette within Tippecanoe County in this warning area, you are going to want to be in your shelter. If you're in Lafayette, you're going to want to be in your shelter. West Lafayette should be clear. I'm not seeing any indication of rotation up there. The warning is still in effect for you, so I would stay in your shelters for now for at least the next 3 or 4 minutes. If you are off to the west of this, especially along State Road 25, you are in the clear. There's no more rotation out there. You're still technically within the warning. The area of concern has shifted off to the east. Again, this is for the south of Lafayette. This is moving toward Dayton. We'll put a storm tracker on this. This is again moving very slow at 25 miles per hour. These storms have slowed down as they moved into the state a lot, actually. So I will draw this tracker on here. 617 to Lafayette. So this is impacting us right now. Fairfield at 618, Eastwich at 628, Dayton at 625. So if you are in the path of this storm, definitely get to a basement if at all possible. We'll look at the debris tracker on this. I'm not seeing anything on debris. I'll look at hail as well and see if we've got any of that there. I see just a very small area where there might be some pea-sized hail, especially off to the south where this rotation is the strongest. You're seeing probably a little bit of hail down there to the south as well. We're gonna have to keep an eye just behind this storm as well, because it looks like we might have some rotation trying to wrap up in southern Tippecanoe County. There is no warning down there yet though, but this is starting to intensify. So we will keep an eye on that as well. I'm gonna check Purdue's radar. Going to see what I can tell from this. Okay, so rotation is very broad right now. So it looks like what the National Weather Service's radar is showing is accurate. It is still in this southern portion, south central, really central Tippecanoe County, but south of Lafayette is where the strongest area of rotation is. It's very broad rotation. There's probably a wall cloud in here. With all of the rain falling ahead of it, you're likely not going to see it. You're not going to see a wall cloud. You would probably not see a tornado if it's on the ground either, because you'll have a wall of rain blocking your view. So do not stay outside watching this as it comes through. Get inside, get in your basement, get in a bathroom or an interior closet, because that's going to be the safest place for you to be as this moves through the area. I'm waiting to see if they extend this warning, which I'm imagining they will, considering the rotation is still pretty pronounced on here, as well as pronounced on the radar. Again, I don't see any debris on this, so that is the good thing. But with the rotation being as impressive as it is, we're likely, and it's been pretty impressive since it passed into Indiana. I've been tracking this for over an hour now, and this has had just consistent rotation on it as it's moved through the state. So if you are in this area, just know this has a history of rotation. This is likely going to continue to rotate as it moves off to the east. So just be prepared for this. This is moving over 52 right now. This will be headed towards 65 soon. This is now to the southeast of Lafayette in really central Tippecanoe County here. That storm off to the north in Battleground, the tornado warning has expired. I'm just seeing very weak rotation up there now. The primary area of concern right now is right here along 52, just southeast of Lafayette, and there's another area of rotation that's starting to set up right where this little curl is to the north of Linden or along 231, where we'll be watching if they put out a warning for this storm down here as well. But right now, the only tornado warning that we have is this one, including Lafayette in the Tippecanoe County area, especially central, and now moving into east central Tippecanoe County. We have no indication on whether they're going to extend this warning or not, but with this type of rotation, I'm almost certain they're going to continue this, pushing east past Tippecanoe County. But we're going to keep an eye on this. I will throw another storm track pushing past Tippecanoe County, as it looks like this warning will likely be extended. So I'm going to draw along this entire line off to the east. I'll do it for the next half hour or so. So this will be at Dayton at 6:26. You are within this tornado warning. Monitor at 6:30. Heath at 6:35, Mulberry at 6:40, and Rossville at 6:49. So if you are in the path of this storm, you are going to want to be in a shelter, the lowest place of your home, whether that's a basement, interior bathroom, interior closet, away from windows, if at all possible. Those are the safest places to be during a tornado. And considering we have this rotation, we could be looking at one any minute. We just need to be cautious with this because there is that rotation there, and these can form very, very quickly. So if you are in the path of this, take shelter as soon as possible. I'm going to take another look at the National Weather Service and see what they're saying on this. I don't see anything from them. On Purdue's radar, I see a couple of areas of rotation that I'm watching. Looks like the National Weather Service radar is doing a pretty good job at depicting what I'm seeing right now. So this is the primary area of rotation right here. This is moving off to the east. This is pushing past 52 right now. This is headed toward 65. This will be at 65 in a matter of minutes. So in about 5 to 10 minutes, this area of rotation will be moving over 65, and then we'll be talking about the potential for a tornado warning into east central and further east, east central Tippecanoe County, and further east from there. We are keeping an eye on this though, because this has had persistent rotation throughout the entire state. That's why we're staying covered on it. There is not a confirmed tornado on the ground yet. This is just this is a radar indicated tornado. There is rotation indicated right here that's tight enough that it could drop a tornado at any moment. I will circle the area that we're dealing with right now as well. Really, I shouldn't have included Lafayette in that. If you're in Lafayette, you should be in the clear. This is mostly to the south and to the east of Lafayette. So North Crane, Dayton, you are within the path of the storm. Further to the east, we'll see if they extend this warning off. This warning is set to expire at 6:30. The rotation is starting to move toward the edge of the warning box. So we will see if they decide to extend that. If they do, they'll have to do it here in the next couple of minutes or so, because we are getting fairly close to the edge of the warned box. Again, I'm seeing another area of rotation down here to the south, right just north of Linden. There is no warning on this yet, but we will have to continue monitoring that to see if this produces anything, because these storms, again, have had a history of rotating, especially where we've had those little curly sections of the rain, or curlicues as Chad likes to call them. And this curlicue here has actually deteriorated quite a bit. So I'm not entirely sure if we're going to see a warning out on this section of the storm or not. But right now I do know that we still have that warning off to the north, because we still have that rotation that's there. And actually there's another area of rotation here south of Lafayette as well. Looks like that this could also potentially be rotating segment of the storm. So we've got two areas of rotation that we're watching right now. One that's moving into east central Lafayette, or east central Tippecanoe County, and one that's in sort of southern, south central Tippecanoe County as well. So we will be monitoring this as these continue to push to the east and evolve. Be watching this as this entire line looks like, especially on the backside of these storms, that it's trying to rotate on the backside. So we're going to keep a very, very close eye on these. I want to see too if the Storm Prediction Center has said anything about these either. Okay, so we are in a tornado watch. The tornado watch was issued about 40 minutes ago, so that was after we went on air. So we do have a tornado watch for our area. This is for, I'll show the watches and warnings on here. This is for especially the southern half of our viewing area, including the central portions of our viewing area. We still have that tornado warning here for Lafayette. Tornado watch south of, in the southern half of our viewing area, as the storms that have been moving through this line have been trying to rotate as they moved off to the east. So again, we will watch the rotation on this, and we will see what the National Weather Service decides to do, if they're going to extend this or not. I imagine they extend it. I don't see how they're not going to. because we've got two little areas of rotation here that we're watching. We've got this main one that we've been watching for the last hour or hour and a half now, and we have this one just behind that's popped up as well. So we have two areas of rotation that we're watching. These are both moving off largely to the east. These both have southern components to them, so they're moving a lot further to the south. They've been hugging the southern side of warning boxes as they've been moving off to the east. So if you are on the southern half of these warning boxes, I would stay vigilant on these because these have been making that right-hand turn as they've been moving through. So keep an eye on this. We're going to keep watching this as time goes on to see what these end up doing, because we still have very tight rotation here. We are still we're seeing actually now this area of rotation that we've been watching is now moving over 65. So it's now starting to move over 65, and it's pushing into the far eastern portions of this warning box. So the National Weather Service, if they're going to extend it, they'll have to do that very soon. And we see that area of rotation down to the south as well that we are concerned about. I'm going to look and see if they've said anything else about this. I'm also going to check Purdue's radar and see what I can see on there. Yeah, I'm still seeing rotation on Purdue's radar. On National Weather Service, I'm not seeing anything else from them. What I do know is that we have two areas of rotation. This area of rotation up here is starting to broaden out a lot. So they might not extend this warning. I still imagine that they do extend this warning, just given how persistent this rotation has been. And then we have a new area of rotation down here that we'll likely get a warning for as well, if these aren't combined into the same warning, which I doubt they will be. These are two separate cells. I'm going to run a loop on these. We had a hail report, it looks like, out of Oak Grove up there, but we've mostly been watching these two areas of rotation, watching especially this southern one now that's moved past 231. This one appears like it's moving a lot faster. It's bowing out, actually. If we take a look at the 30-minute radar loop, yeah, so there's a bowing segment right now. We might see a severe thunderstorm warning issued for that because of that bowing loop. But where those loops bow on the ends of the loops, you do end up getting rotation. So we've got an end of a loop up here to the north, and we've got another end of the loop off here past Lafayette. So we're watching these two areas primarily. It looks like rotation is largely falling apart right now, though, so that's a very good sign. As these move to the east, they are weakening quite a bit. So we may not see these warnings get extended. There's 1 more minute left in these tornado warnings. National Weather Service timed this out perfectly. This is just as it's getting to the edge of the watch box. So we'll see now in the next couple of minutes if they decide to extend it. If they don't extend it, we'll end the coverage right here, and we'll go back to regular programming. If they do extend it, we'll stay covering it, but I will be monitoring these series of storms as they move off to the east. We are now in a tornado watch for the entirety of the viewing, or the entirety of the southern part of the viewing area, so Tippecanoe line south. But again, we will be watching this and see what they decide to do with this warning. Okay. And they allowed the warning to expire. The areas of rotation have weakened enough that we have now gotten the official all clear for the Lafayette area. So we will send you all back to regular scheduled programming now.
This has been a Storm Team 18 Severe Weather Alert. We now return you to regular programming.